So today we're going to talk about for some like referral strategy stuff that is working super, super well for my clients. Hey, Megan. Um, because I am just seeing like so many clients be like very, very successful with this. And I'm not talking like, oh, I got a new client. I'm talking like they're making over 500K a year and like most of their business is propped up by referrals kind of thing, right? Um, but I feel like one, we don't talk about that very much in the online space. And I think so much of the reason is because people are like, referrals aren't a strategy, right? Or you can't count on it. And I just like so vehemently disagree with both of those things. So we're going to get into that. And then two, I also think like as other things come into our space, meaning like, as social gets more challenging in certain ways, as AI, continues to evolve and transform how we show up, et cetera, like having these relational connections where you can get business from your relationships is such an important piece of feeling steady and mm, yeah, like I feel like I was just saying grounded a bunch about the house, but we'll say it again, like feeling steady and grounded in your business. And I don't mean that now you have to go implement like an entire referral strategy in your business, but I also do think that it's worth thinking about it is what is worth thinking about is if this has been a strategy you're like totally underutilizing because it kind of gets a bad rap. Like it doesn't actually feel like a real strategy. Or I think another thing that a lot of people will say about referral stuff is that it's not predictable enough, which again, I just don't agree with. So we're going to talk about all of those things and really get into like one, how can you leverage this, but two, just like the overall thought process behind like using simple strategy, what that means, what does predictability even mean in our space, and all of this stuff that I think gets in the way of sometimes using really good, really simple strategies. So, in terms of referrals, what we always talk about when we talk about growing an audience is you can buy audience, i.e., paid ads. You can borrow audience, i.e., like other people's connections, networks, audience, or you can build it yourself, i.e., organic, right? And I feel like that's like a pretty like known and accepted thing. It's like why so people go on each other's podcasts and do different things like that, right? Because it's like we are borrowing other people's audiences. It's like why, we see people like getting together in person and things like that. It's like they're leveraging the collective of all their audiences, right? Now, the the thing about that is like feel like that's very well accepted for audience growth, I guess is how I would say it, or like for audience building. But I feel like for some reason we're like, oh no, 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 but not for actually getting sales or like whatever, or like it's only acceptable if it's like a huge audience you're getting in front of or something. But basically, the reason I wanted to say that is because the principles are true no matter what. Like whether one, like going on someone's podcast gets you exposed to, like 50,000 people, or someone that is a really good referral partner helps you get 5 sales. Like it kind of is similar in a sense. And so the way that we kind of like, showcase one but like ignore the other just doesn't make sense to me because the principle underlying them is the same, which is that other people have connections that you do not yet have. What would it look like to leverage those connections? Like it's kind of as simple as that. Does that make sense? Hey, Michelle, it's good to see you. Hey, Megan. Um, so with this referral building, that's really what we're trying to do. Other people have these connections, relationship audiences in front of them that are the perfect connections, relationships, and audiences for you. What does it look like to leverage those? And then what does it look like to actually see that as a solid strategy in your business? I feel like I hear so often like, oh yeah, but that happens for me, but it's not like my number one strategy. And I'm like, well, if that happens so easily for you, why isn't it your number one strategy? And then usually it's something like, well, it's not that predictable, or like I didn't want to rely on that. I don't want to rely on referrals. Referrals aren't predictable. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. Um, I have really bad news. Nothing is predictable in the online space. Nothing is predictable in business. Like we can see patterns, but when people are saying predictable, what they actually mean is a guarantee. Okay. And so when you're saying it's not predictable enough, what you're saying is it's not a guarantee. I can't guarantee that that person's going to mention my name in the room of, X other people enough times. Okay, but like that's true with anything else. You can't guarantee that you're going to have a post that goes viral. You can't guarantee that your ads costs aren't going to be impacted this quarter, right? All of the things we do have some level of unpredictability to them. That does not make them bad strategies, right? Everything in business fluctuates. Ads, social referrals, all of it. Like it all fluctuates. Like, for example, ads costs, right? Your performance can be massively influenced by like the time of the year, who else is spending and launching in your category, what Instagram or what Meta has fucked with recently. Like all of these things happen, right? I mean, even like in terms of ads, it could be as simple as like it's a tech issue, right? That creates some level of unpredictability in terms of what's happening for that. So the reason I wanted to showcase that isn't to say like, oh my God, everything in business is fucked. It's not. The point is every strategy has some element of unpredictability to it. No strategy is a surefire guarantee every single time, no matter what, in the exact moment that you want it, how you want it, with the numbers you want it. We have to stop making a strategy wrong for that reason. Like that is normal of basically any strategy we could use. So if we weren't vilifying it, what strategy would you actually like to use? So many people think they want to use ads because they think that it's like the guarantee of all guarantees. And it's like, it's just another strategy that has some variance and some, um, like unpredictability to it, just like anything else. And so I really wanted to name that because our referral is going to be this thing where you're like, well, I always know I can get at least X per month and no, but do you need that to have a successful business? Absolutely the fuck not. Right? What you need is tolerance for it. Right? What you need is tolerance for the fact that sometimes your ads costs are going to be, less or more. What you need is tolerance for the fact that like you might get 50 referrals one month and 10 the next, and then 20 the month after. Like that is actually so much of what we need. And I'm going to get into the strategies of the referral piece, but I just wanted to kind of like talk through these objections first because I think it's really easy to like, again, blow off the strategy, but I cannot tell you enough how much I think it is so useful, and it is not unlike any other strategy in terms of its like, fluctuation. But what we have to be at as business owners is good at managing the fluctuation, is being willing to adapt to that, is having a business that does not make it so that some fluctuation in ads costs or referrals or social reach or algorithm completely tanks our business. Like that's actually what's scary. Do you know what I mean? What's scary is not feeling like you can withstand that. If you go, oh, I can withstand this, it's totally fine to have a referral heavy business where some months we get more referrals and some months we get a little bit less. You have all the power. Like that is actually how your business will grow. If you go, I won't double down on referrals because what if one month I get more and one month I get less? I cannot tolerate that. Like my brain would not tolerate that. That's when business is scary. Does that make sense? I think it's like really important to say that because the ability to tolerate fluctuation is one of the most crucial if you want to have success in business, if you want to make some of these strategies work for you, and most importantly, if you want to make simple strategies work for you. Because I think what happens is with the simple strategies, we go, oh, no, 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 that's too simple. There must be more I should be doing or controlling, or there must be more that I should be able to like guarantee. And then we end up with these very complicated businesses and very complicated strategies, thinking that there's a guarantee behind them, and there's not. Like, there just isn't, right? The guarantee is, are you resilient enough to deal with it? And will you keep showing up for it? Cool. Okay. So, that being said, referrals are a strong strategy. In an AI world, referrals are a really, really, really strong strategy, right? Because that connection from another human saying, hey, this person is, insert thing, great, reliable, trustworthy, amazing at their job, has a tremendous product, service, whatever, is going to do so much for you. And it's also one of those things where you don't need huge, huge, huge volume to have huge impact, right? Um, I'll give an example of one of my clients that has an agency, and their agency was um, just like not even like really like massively intentionally, but someone just very positively shouted them out on a group board that they were part of. I'm trying to be like non-specific. Um, and the amount of business they got from that one shout out, it's like thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars in return on that one shout out, right? And so, what would happen for a lot of businesses in that moment? Uh-oh, am I frozen, y'all? Hmm, maybe not. I can't tell. It's frozen on my end, but maybe it's not on y'all. Let me know. Um, what would happen to a lot of business owners in that moment is they would go, oh yeah, that was nice and that was cool. And I'm like really happy that happened, but I'm not gonna like actually, okay, not frozen. Good, good, good. Thank you guys. Um, I'm not gonna actually rely on it long term because X, right? Like, what if I didn't get that many people again? Or what if so and so doesn't shout me out again? Or da, da, da. What a very, very smart business owner does is go, wow, from one little message like that, I got, you know, X amount of outreach and sales. Well, fuck yeah. What else can I do there? What else needs to happen in order for me to capitalize on that? How can I get more of those? What does it look like to plan on getting those regularly? Like, that's actually the strategy, right? It's to go, wow, this thing worked really well. How do I leverage it? And that's where referrals come in. Wow, referrals work really well. How do I leverage them? If you do that, you are on a fast track to not only getting results, but easier results. Because honestly, like referrals are not that hard of a strategy. Do you know what I mean? Like, what do you have to do? Like, keep in touch with the person giving you referrals. I mean, I'm kidding, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, do great work. Like, ideally, you're already doing that. So it's not like, oh, and it's going to take you posting every single day on Instagram. It's a totally different lift. I'm not saying it's not one that like doesn't come with its own kind of, effort in the sense that you have to be like great at your craft and all of those things. But I did really want to say like the leverage piece is how you have to think about that. If you know this has worked really well for you, instead of poo-pooing it and being like, oh, that was nice once, but you go more. How do I leverage that? How do I get more? So, for example, the client with the listserv situation. It's like, okay, well, how many other clients do we have that are part of boards or listservs like this? Cool. How often can we set up a process where we're reaching out to them and asking them if they would feel comfortable giving us a shout out? Okay, now it's starting to get more predictable, right? Now it's starting to look like something that we can actually gain a ton of leverage from. Do we know for sure that every one of these clients is going to do it exactly when we ask and in the way we ask and in the timeline we ask it? No, but that doesn't matter, right? Like that is the thing I really want to like keep reiterating. It doesn't matter. What matters is if we ask enough times over the course of the next year, will we get enough that we can directly tie to a huge, huge, huge outcome? Yes. And what did it take for us to ask for those? Being really good at the job and sending an email. This is such a leverage strategy, right? And like again, maybe you're like, my clients don't have group boards or listservs, or like we'll get into other options, but I just want to show you that like this is how easy it can be. Where most people get stuck is they think that there's something wrong with it, all the objections we talked about, or they just won't ask. They're like, yeah, but I don't want to ask people to refer me. I don't want to be the one that has to go, hey, as a valued client, like it means so much to us when blah, 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 blah. Like if you can get past those two things, you can make so much money off of referrals. Um, Let me give you a different example. So, well, let's say this. I won't give you a different example, but just for context. Like, that's a really easy version. Like, somebody gives you a shout out. Every single person that is listening to this live stream has clients that would be so willing to go give them a shout out somewhere. I used to do this when I first started my business. So you guys know that free calls were a huge part of the strategy for me when I started my business. So I'll tell you like exactly what I did with that. every person that I had a free call with, I would pitch. And either I would sign them as a client, and if they, weren't going to be a client for whatever reason, I would ask them to go shout me out in a Facebook group. That was it. And so then a bunch of people would go and post in a Facebook group and be like, I just had a session with Lacey. It was really amazing. I had like this takeaway, or she's a great coach, or it was so helpful. And then more people wanted those. Like that is 1000% a strategy. Like I was either going to get the sale or I was going to leverage it to get another sale. Right. And again, so many of us just won't do that. Like I had to be willing to ask though. I had to go, hey, so I know we're not going to work together right now, but what would be so helpful to me is if, um, how did I say it? I'm trying to remember exactly. I mean, it's been a minute. But I would say something like, it'd be so helpful and meaningful to me if you could blah, 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 blah. And like the exchange felt good to them and it made sense because they had gotten a free call from me. Or if it's a client, the exchange makes sense and feels good because they're a happy client, right? And so much of this comes back to like serve your people really well and then ask. You will be so surprised how far that goes. And there's not a single person with a business that could not like leverage or benefit from some version of that. Right. Almost anytime my clients come to me and are like, oh, I need to get clients quickly or something like that, I'm like, what have we asked of your current clients? Like, have we asked your current clients for a referral? Have we reached out to past clients and let them know that you either have an opening or you would love if they could connect you um, to whatever, an opportunity, their audience, uh, a um, a friend that they have that they think is a great fit. Obviously, this massively depends on like who your target market is, how you serve them, all of those things. But it doesn't depend that much that this isn't possible for most businesses. And I think because we have online businesses, we tend to not think of referrals as like a strong strategy because it feels like the online elements are the strategy, like the um, social media posting, the ads, the whatever. But I promise you, this is the strategy that makes all of that work. Like all of that posting that you're doing to your Instagram. If someone went and said, to their friend tomorrow, hey, Lacey's an amazing business coach. You should check her out. Guess where they're coming to check me out? Probably my Instagram or my Facebook group or whatever. If they like what they see there, not only have they now consumed my social content and it makes it worth putting that out, but now they're coming from a really strong referral source. I'm making that sale. I'm getting that client. Right. So it's not like this is the antithesis of like, online marketing. It's like actually creates leverage for your online marketing too. Um, Valerie said I did something very similarly. So when I started, it was the process that helped me jumpstart my business. Serving is key. Love that you are sharing this today. Thank you. Yes, totally. Like, I think we so undervalue what it just means to be of service and then ask for something, you know? Um, and I think we also, again, get so caught up in the like, oh, it's online marketing. It needs to look like this. But like, if you have one great referral source, you can have a six-figure business. Like I mean that totally. Right. Another one of my clients, she has like I just am always like trying to be careful about, she has a very strong referral partner. This person has been a long-time referral partner and probably like a couple years into this person just always being such a strong referral partner and like always sending people her way and then her sending this person thank yous and gifts and all of the things. They like formalized an agreement of like, hey, for every person you refer, you get X kind of thing, right? Like so, like affiliate commission percentage kind of thing, right? And the reason I share that is because like I think to me affiliate does fall in the referral thing, but it's like also stuff that can evolve. Like, would it have made sense for them to start that at the beginning? No, I think it would almost have felt weird, like it happened so naturally. But over time, when you're like, well, this person is like one of the best referral sources in my business, how can I make that valuable for them or worth it for them long term? Then you can also start adding in things like that, which are also leverage. So now this person is by far her biggest referral source, and that person probably makes, I don't know, I'd have to really do the math on that, but like they make a ton of money off of her. Like they both benefit extremely well from this like agreement that they have built and evolved and changed over the years. And I guarantee Like, I don't know the exact numbers, but I guarantee if we did the math, she could trace it's probably at least 150, if not more, 150K, if not more, probably way more, to be honest, to this one person in a single year, right? And so I think the other thing that happens for people is they'll go, yeah, but I don't have anybody that blank. Well, go build a relationship with them. Like, who do you know that has a big audience or that has an engaged audience or that has a great community that, um, like has your ideal client in it? Go build a relationship with them. Like, I think that's the other thing with referrals that we get wrong is that like, we think that it should only be easy and it can be really easy. Don't get me wrong. But like, kind of the example I was using with like Instagram, if we're willing to post on social media 5 times a week or whatever the fuck it is, like, are we really not willing to go send a few DMs and build some relationships and ask someone to coffee or whatever? Like, this is a strategy that pays off so much. Um, Michelle said this is a great combo because I would love to build my current business through referrals. Yes. I mean, I think it is so possible. Lindsay said, great reminder. My kid's doctor just asked what I do, and I told him, and he was thrilled, saying this is exactly what he needs for many patients and to please drop off my marketing materials. I was like, oh, yeah, I used to do things like this regularly and just got away from it. Exactly. Like, I think we get so wrapped up in the online space. And actually, I'm going to tell you what made me even think to do this live stream. We get so wrapped up in the online space that it almost feels like those things aren't scalable, right? That is always the conversation in the online space. What's scalable? Oh, you take marketing materials to doctors in your area. That's not scalable. You need to be X, like whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's actually why you stopped, Lindsay. It might just be the natural course of business, but I'm just going to use that as an example. Um, and I think it's just so easy to be like, again, like lean toward like the online strategy, the scalability, the whatever, but like we are leaving so much money on the table. And listen, sometimes it's okay to leave money on the table in business, but we are leaving so much money on the table if we aren't going, oh yeah, it actually is super scalable to have really strong relationships. Again, we'll just use Lindsay with 5 doctors in my area. Like I could get enough referrals from that to like make 6 figures in my business or whatever. Like that is huge, right? Um, Megan said the hardest part for me is that first in because the higher level business owners are not necessarily in their DMs. It's their social media manager, even going to events, they're hard to access. I have thoughts on that. Um, Jenna said, I have a therapy solo private practice and ethically cannot ask my clients to give me reviews or shout outs. However, I do network with other professionals in my niche. Totally right. So it's like it may be your clients, it may not be your clients, it might be someone else in your niche, it might be whatever, but like there is a leverage opportunity where someone is going, like, who are they asking? Who can I hire as a therapist, right? Like, there is always a chance to make this work really well for you. I think, Megan, in terms of um, the in, what I have found to be true is that number one, I think you'd be surprised how many people actually are in their DMs. I think that's shifted an incredibly big amount. Number two, I think that being a human is actually like the biggest thing. Like, I think that so often, from like a referral perspective or relational perspective, sometimes we tend to lead, pardon me, with that, like, hey, I'm a blah 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 and I do blah 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 and I want to like build this relationship with you kind of thing. But what I have found to be true is that like when you lead with just like the human thing, like that actually makes it so much easier to have that in. And then they're like, oh, you're an OBM. Oh, my clients need that. Like this was the experience for me at a recent event I went to with somebody else. Like, I chatted with her at this event quite a bit. She like never, like pushed what she did or any of those things. But we got back from the event and she DM'd me and was just like, oh, it was so great to meet you. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't realize you do this. I just got asked for this by 3 people recently. I'm gonna give them your name. And I know she's made 2 like high ticket sales off that. So I think that that's worth thinking about too. I think that so often we feel like we have to like, you know, like lead with that because we want to be transparent, which obviously like transparency matters. But I actually think so many people want to refer people that they feel like they have a relationship with or that is an actual human. And so I think anything we can do to kind of like build the human element, like Lindsay, the example you used is perfect because like the doctor was like seeing you as like the human Lindsay that like, um, does this thing. right? And so it like makes them want to refer you because it's like, oh, that's Lindsay, right? Like that's someone I have this kind of like, relationship with in a certain way versus like when we're just leading with the expertise. So I think that's like a huge undervalued piece is that we so often try to lead with that expertise and actually leading with the human nature of it or the human element of it or leading with just like building a relationship. I think is so much better sometimes. Like I know for me, like again, if like getting approached for referrals, because like I think a lot of people will come to me for referrals because they're like, oh, you have like a really amazing practice, but you also have this huge wait list. And what I am always most resonant with is when someone's kind of like building a normal human relationship with me, versus being like, hi, I'm a so and so and I do so and so. I would love to support your clients. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. What? You know what I mean? But when it's like, like we know each other and you do this, like it's so different. So anyway, I think that's like um a helpful way to think about it. Michelle said totally agree about leading with the human nature. I feel like people will naturally see the expertise as they get to know you. Exactly. 100%. So true about building the human element. I just got back from Kit's Craft and Commerce and talking about Taylor Swift was so much more bonding and an in they cared more about it than business. Yes. Lindsay said, yes, that's the opposite of how I used to think about it. I used to think like, oh, I can't promote my business because I'm just here as a mom at an appointment and shouldn't promote myself. But what you're saying makes even more sense. Yes, exactly. Like, I think like you just like being there as the mom at the appointment is actually like what makes that referral probably pay off so much. Um, is because that's that element. And then also, like, I think it makes it easier for someone to refer. So, like, this person that I was just talking about that I've, sent a few clients their way, it was so easy for me to do that because I was like, you know what? I actually just met this person at an event and she was like so kind and I like really loved our conversation and we chatted about X and blah. So, like, the referral feels really genuine then too. It doesn't just feel like, oh, well, someone was in my DMs and they told me they do X. Like, I guess you could reach out. Like, it was such a different handoff at that point. Um, like I'm like, oh, I've chatted with so and so about whatever. And so I think that makes a really big difference too, and like why the human element and human side of it is so appealing and so powerful as it relates to referrals. Um, okay, so another referral example that I wanted to give is like there are tons of creative ways to do this, right? So I'm trying to like file. I have like five examples I want to give. So one is like I this happened to me recently. I was gonna go to this event, then I couldn't go to this event. Anyway, the person was very like kind about it and reached out and was like, hey, it's such a bummer you're missing this one, but I'd love to give you a ticket for the next one and you can bring another person with you for free. And I thought that was so genius because one, it was like very generous, but two, like that is a version of a referral, right? I am now referring someone else to this next event. And again, I think it's one of those things where you could be like, oh, yeah, you'll probably get some people from that if you give people that. But like, what's the leverage there? There is so much leverage there. Me going to somebody, whether it's like one of my clients or a friend, and being like, hey, do you want to come to this event with me? Like, that could do so much because now that person's going to go to this event and then they're going to leverage that and share it probably with their audience. And they're going to make that a whole thing, right? And so there is actually like a ton of reach that can come from one thing. Like, let's just say I invite one of my clients and they have whatever, I'm 100,000 followers. From this person just being kind and generous to me and like offering me a second spot, they might have reach of 100,000 new audience. Like, or I mean, obviously it's not going to go to all 100,000, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like, they're leveraging that in a big way. And so I think it's just one of those things where we have to like follow the trail and see the knock-on effect, right? It's not just about, oh, yeah, I'm going to get one extra person at my event. It's like, what exposure is the event getting for that? What kind of referral am I now getting from my event from like a whole other net and audience, right? So there are always ways to do this. It's actually just seeing referrals as a strong strategy for you, whether that's your clients, your peer network, um, a group, hey, I just gave someone a free session, I'm going to ask them to shout me out, or like, hey, I'm going to extend this invitation and this olive branch to more people, or like, hey, I'm just going to go build a lot of like human to human relationships, and I know that that will, create a huge knock-on effect. Like, all of these things are so meaningful when you actually watch how much they like spread out and trickle out. It's kind of shocking. And again, I just being behind the scenes in so many businesses that one of my clients, I would say almost her entire business model is referrals, and she makes over 500K a year. And I would say like that's the vast majority of where we can trace every single lead to. Like, these are not small numbers. This is not a small strategy. It is actually, I think, one of the best right now in a season of the online space where we're demanding humanness, but it's also such a quick converter too. I feel like we've talked so much about like we're in a trust recession, client timelines have lengthened, whatever. You know what shortens those? Referrals, right? Um, uh, Manali said, I feel like I need to put a recurring reminder to ask for a referral on my actual calendar instead of just when I'm looking for spots. Yes, that too. Um, I was mentioning that about the client getting the shout out earlier, right? Of like, okay, now we just need to make this a thing. It's not just like, oh, when someone wants to do it, it's like, how are we asking for this regularly? So I think that's a really good point, because it can feel almost like reactive, and not to the person you're asking for the referral from necessarily, but for you, it can almost feel like, oh my God, now I need to go ask for a referral. And then like, yeah, referrals don't feel like that good of a strategy because it feels like a very reactive strategy. But when you're like, oh no, I'm going to be really intentional about this and I'm going to leverage it more regularly and I'm going to make it part of my strategy, just like I'm not just posting when I need clients, I'm posting consistently, right? I would think about it like that. Um, it's like I was talking about when I was doing free calls and asking for shout outs in groups. Like, sometimes I wanted a client that day, sometimes I couldn't have a client for a while, but I definitely still wanted that shout out either way. Um, yeah, and Michelle said, yeah, referrals are absolutely the fast track to trust. That's how I found my agency. Exactly. Like, they shorten the timeline so much. And so, like, if you think about the things we're like combating, so to speak, as like a trust recession, lengthening timelines, um, an AI world, like less of the human element, what solves all of those? Referrals, you know? Um, if the relationship building is on my calendar, then I feel like this is also a marketing task that deserves to be on there. Amen. 100% a marketing task. Like, hands down, that is such an important marketing task. I also think, and this may be like very obvious, but I also think acknowledging a referral is so important. I've had situations where I've referred someone a lot and they've just been like, thanks, that's so appreciated. And I'm like, so happy to. It's not like I'm doing it to get something, right? But I've also had situations where I referred someone a lot and a gift shows up at my door or in my inbox, or um, a really lovely like handwritten thank you note has shown up, different things like that. And it's not so much about like, do you give a gift or do you whatever? It's like, if someone is sending you big, I mean, even I was gonna say big amounts of business, but honestly, even little amounts of business, and you acknowledge that and you actually like make that a positive thing, they're gonna have such a positive association with that and they're gonna want to do it a lot more. If it feels like, wow, I've sent you so much business and like maybe never even really got a full thank you for that, it can feel weird. Like, the exchange just does feel weird. Again, I don't think it's about, do we need like massive acknowledgement or does someone need to send a fucking, fruit basket every time? But I would just say, like, make sure if you're doing this that you make a big deal out of what that referral means to you, because that person will want to do it again and again because of that, right? When it's like really acknowledged, when it's actually appreciated, when it feels like, oh, that was like a meaningful effort on their part. So you may also set that process up in your business too. Like, is there a thing on your calendar once a month to be like, who sent us referrals this month? Do I go send them all voice notes right now or whatever? But I do think that goes a really, really long way in terms of actually like making this more predictable. Again, nothing is a guarantee, right? But like, I do think when you're like, oh, this is like a reciprocal thing and we always acknowledge it, they want to do it more, it tends to compound really easily and really quickly. And again, these can be like little things, like we're not talking huge gift basket or something. We're talking like, here's uh $5 for a coffee on me or something like that, right? Like really it goes like a very long way. Um, what are good referral gifts? I don't necessarily know what they would like or have their address to send a physical gift. So I would say it really depends. If I feel comfortable with the person, I'll ask for their physical address. Like I'll say, hey, I would like this meant so much to me that you sent someone my way. I would like love to send a referral gift to you. Do you feel comfortable giving me your address? It's totally fair to ask that. Um, Otherwise, I think the coffee thing can be great. Look up a local coffee shop in their area, like if you know they live in Nashville or whatever, and send like a virtual gift card or someone that I used to send a lot of referrals to um knew I loved Lululemon because I think I like mentioned it, one time on a live stream a long time ago, and they would always send me like a Lululemon gift card. And it was just like so nice because it was like, oh, you listened. Um, the other thing I was gonna say, oh, there was one more that I thought of. Oh, just something you love is also really cool. So somebody once sent me like a gift basket of this, I can't even remember what the brand was, but it was like a very like nice high-end like lotion and soap kind of brand. And they were like, hey, this is my favorite thing. And like you did such a beautiful thing for me. I want to send you my favorite thing. And that actually I thought was really cool too. Because it was a brand had never used before. And it wasn't like I would have been like, oh, I hope they get me something from X. But it was like so sweet to be like, oh, I love that like you sent me your favorite thing. Um, most of my business has been referrals, but when I've moved to formalize or create affiliate links, et cetera, it feels like it gets a little weird and even slows down. Interesting, Christy. I mean, I think that can happen because it does take out this human element we're talking about. I think that it really depends. I think that sometimes it can leverage it more because the person's like, well, I'm already sending so much business your way. It'd be like amazing to be getting a kickback from this because they can like literally do the math in their head of like, oh, I'd be getting whatever, insert thing, $2,000 a month off that. That's $2,000 a month of passive income. That's amazing, whatever. Um, but I think if it's mostly like this, it can almost feel less exciting because it's almost like the difference between like, oh, I'm gonna get $100 in my account or I'm gonna have like $100 package show up at my door. I'm kind of kidding, but do you know what I mean? Like that gift thing I got was probably like less than $100. I have no idea. But like that versus like if she had been like, oh, we're gonna send you X via PayPal would have felt totally different. In fact, I actually had this happen not all that long ago is I had referred someone and their assistant had reached out and they were like, oh, we'd love to send you X via PayPal. And I was like, honestly, thank you, but no, thank you. Like, I just like wanted to refer you because I thought you were great. Like, I really appreciate the gesture, but something about that felt weird to me. Now that wasn't a formalized thing at all. So like, I think that's different than what you're talking about, Christy, but I just wanted to say like, I do get the energy shift there sometimes. So I think it's really only worth moving to a much bigger kind of like formalized setting with them if it's pretty obvious like that the payoff will be there pretty quickly for them. um Megan said same way, people refer me because they want to, not because they're getting a little kickback. That's why I like the surprise and delight of a thoughtful gift. Exactly. Yeah. Like they're like, I just think you're great. Like I want to, send someone your way. And I do think that that can make a difference. And again, Christy, I would also say like, I think it really depends on like seasonality of the online space. Like I've been doing this for 10 years and I feel like there was a season where it was such a big push for like affiliates and commissions. And it was almost like it was looked at as weird if you weren't quickly giving an affiliate or commission. But now I think with like so much of this like human stuff and it all feeling like, so much of this feeling like it lacks the trust or the human element, I almost feel like there's some bit of a pushback. So it could just be like, stage of the online space too. I've been thinking through this live that formalizing later is probably the move. I don't know why that wouldn't compute. Formalizing later is probably the move. Gift feels more fun anyway and more human, especially for most of my clients aren't going to be motivated by a few $100 via PayPal. Exactly. Like I really do think there's like a difference there of like what it feels like to receive a surprise gift at your door versus what it feels like to get that via PayPal, even if it's like monetarily the same or maybe even better. But I do think that that is a big difference. I think that acknowledgement piece of like, oh, Christy's so kind, like that's so amazing, like does go a long way. Um, but I think what's like so good to see about all of this is like this is easy shit, right? Like this is so simple. Like it's so easy to I mean, I know it's like so easy to build a relationship. Like, I guess that's, depends on the person and the thing and all of this stuff. But like, we're willing to like spend thousands and thousands of dollars on ads, learn all new tech, post so consistently on social, all of these things that like are a pretty massive, like creative and time lift to be able to just go, I just want to like build on some of the humans I know. I just want to send them a note when I'm thinking about them. I just want to ask for a referral more regularly. I just want to send a gift if they like that is so low on the like intensity scale that to not be leveraging this in your business, I just think is such a miss at this stage of the online game. But again, you want to start seeing it as a strategy. When you see it as this like random separate thing that you sometimes get lucky with, when you're like, this is a strategy. So like Manali was saying, it's on the calendar. It's a thing you think about. It's a thing you're intentional about. It's a thing you're doing regularly. It's a thing you have a process for. Oh yeah, we check what referrals we got that month. We send gifts. Like I'm not saying don't treat it like a strategy. It absolutely is. It should be. And that's where you'll see the best results from it. But what's so cool about it, it's a lower lift strategy than a lot of the other ones, which is really exciting. I think, again, in this time where things are just taken a bit more. Like this can be something that shortcuts it a bit. So I hope that helps. I such a fan. I'm just seeing this work in so many businesses across the board right now, whether it's like the one who's built her whole business on that, or just people who like are just doing these little things more to leverage referrals and being like, wow, that really paid off. Interesting. Like I'm just seeing it be such a big thing right now. So I hope it's a reminder to go do it. Thank you guys so much for being here, for joining me in my new space. And I hope you have a beautiful week. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.